Honestly, I didn't know if this was a brilliant idea or just some romantic fantasy birthed from a creative mind. But it intrigued me and I wanted to find out. Despite having had knee problems in the past, I decided to go for it. It was summer. I kept checking the weather forecast. Ultimately, I didn't want to be on a mountaintop and get surprised by a thunderstorm. Then they came, several perfectly sunny days in a row. I planned the details of my trip and packed my stuff. I imagined myself sitting on top of the mountain, alone, on a warm summer evening, at golden hour of course, being inspired by the stunning view of a majestic environment and creating a beautiful piece of music. Well, little did I know that things would turn out to be quite differently. But let me start at the beginning. I had to hike about 5 kilometers and had to tackle 1,000 meters of altitude. It was a hot summer day and I was grateful for the sections that led through the shade of a forest. It wasn't long until I realized that I had to go at a slow pace. After all, I was carrying a 20-kilogram backpack of water, food, filming gear, a laptop, additional clothing, and a sleeping bag because I was planning to stay on the mountain for the night. After maybe half of this steep hike, my legs started to feel weak. I had to take one step at a time. This is when I started humming a repetitive melody to the rhythm of my feet. Then I suddenly had the thought that this might be the first element of a soundtrack. So I recorded the melodic idea in my head on my iPhone. In several spots, I had a stunning view, which was quite rewarding. I came across very few other individuals on the path. Understandably, they were heading down the mountain, because that's what you normally do in the late afternoon. This made me realize that what I was doing was quite unusual. When I got to the ridge, I was amazed by the beautiful view, but at the same time surprised by a really cold breeze. I had not expected such a drastic difference in temperature. I had to put on some more clothes. The final part of my ascent led over a very narrow ridge line. That's when I realized I needed to take a break first. My legs were tired and I was lacking concentration, a condition that made this section of my hike actually dangerous. So I sat down for 20 minutes and ate something. Then, finally, I arrived at the top. This moment is hard to describe. It's a mixture of feelings of accomplishment and exhaustion, while having that excitement of being at an elevated position and being surrounded by an awe-inspiring mountainous landscape. I savored the moment. I became hungry, and it was time to make dinner. I enjoyed this unique cooking experience. I was happy that I had this mountaintop all to myself. Well, almost all to myself. One thing was quite painful though. It already was very uncomfortably windy and cold, and it kept getting worse. It was clear that I wasn't going to be able to create music under these conditions. The sun was setting. This glorious moment made me forget the reason why I had actually gone there. No exaggeration. This was one of the most mind-blowing views I had ever had. The last challenge of the day was to find and prepare a spot where I could sleep protected from the wind. Thank God there was a log bench. I watched the moon and the mountains while being warm and cozy in my sleeping bag. I woke up with my alarm clock. I wasn't going to miss the sunrise, that was for sure. It was cold and the wind was still blowing, although less strongly. I made coffee, one of the most memorable coffees ever. The location was warming up, and the wind had almost stopped. Then I suddenly realized that this was the moment to start producing my soundtrack. I booted my MacBook, opened the session file, and listened to the voice memo with the melody and harmony ideas I had recorded on the way up. I rebuilt them with synths and pads and started laying out the song structure. I also wanted to have some ethereal singing in the track, so I used the microphone of my earbuds to record. This is what my Mountaintop soundtrack demo turned out sounding like. Singing the vocal parts to the music while being in this place was absolutely incredible. It felt like my voice was filling this whole mountain area. I got what I came for. The rest of the production would be done in my home studio. While I was packing up, the first hikers reached the top. The timing was perfect. My adventure, too. Producing a soundtrack on the mountaintop? What a brilliant idea.